I arrived at my property and nearly dropped my coffee. The sight before me was nothing short of a nightmare. My land, 600 acres of pristine farmland, was gone. Flattened, destroyed, heavy machinery still sat idle. The tracks of bulldozers scarring the once fertile soil. A bright, obnoxious HOA banner flapped in the wind, proudly announcing, "Future site of Lakewood HOA Park and residential expansion." And standing in the middle of it all, clipboard in hand, was none other than Carentha power-hungry HOA president. "Karen, what in the hell have you done?" I demanded, storming up to her.
Oh, haven't you heard? The HOA approved this land for development. The community voted. This will be a wonderful expansion for Lakewood residents.
I clenched my jaw. She had no idea who she was dealing with. Karen's reign of terror had been escalating for months. Ever since she took over the HOA, she had been enforcing increasingly absurd rules, all under the guise of improving the neighborhood. At first, it seemed like small annoyances, pointless rules about mailbox colors and lawn ornaments, but Karen's hunger for control only grew. Her first major overreach was restricting farming activity near HOA properties. She claimed the smell and noise from my cattle and tractors were disrupting the peaceful suburban experience. Never mind that my family had worked this land for generations, long before her cookie-cutter HOA neighborhood even existed. That didn't matter to Karen. She wanted the countryside to conform to her vision of suburbia, even if it meant rewriting history. Next came her so-called HOA landscaping standard. Karen decided that rural property 7, those outside of HOA jurisdiction, needed to meet her idea of a picturesque community. She sent out letters, demanding that homeowners plant only approved foliage, claiming that native prairie grasses and functional farmland were an eyesore. When people ignored her nonsense, she doubled down, issuing fines to those who refused to conform. She even sent a cease and desist letter to an elderly couple who had been growing sunflowers on their property for over 50 years, accusing them of visual pollution. But this was her most outrageous stunt yet. Karen thought she could bulldoze 600 acres of my farmland, my livelihood, because she assumed it was unclaimed land. She had made a fatal miscalculation. The next morning, I made some calls. By noon, the HOA board had gathered at the site, grinning, already making plans for their future park. Karen stood at the center, basking in their admiration as if she had single-handedly delivered them a new Eden. Then they heard it. A deep rumble echoed across the land, dust kicking up from the long dirt road leading to the site. A convoy of police cars, county vehicles, and legal representatives rolled in, their presence an undeniable omen of doom. Karen's smug expression faltered. She clutched her pink HOA folder tighter as officers stepped out, crisp uniforms and unreadable faces spelling trouble. One officer, a tall man with a no-nonsense demeanor, approached, holding a thick stack of official documents.
What's going on?
Karen snapped, flipping open her folder as if her paperwork held more authority than the law itself. The officer ignored her theatrics and held up the document.
Ma'am, this is a formal notice of unlawful land destruction and trespassing. You and the HOA have illegally bulldozed private property.
That's ridiculous. This land was approved for community use. The HOA voted.
The officer cut her off, his tone turning icy.
This land isn't just private property, ma'am. It belongs to the county. And the county? That would be owned by this man right here.
Karen's face drained of color. Gasps rippled through the gathered HOA members. Some of them took slow steps backward, as if putting distance between themselves and Karen might save them. I took my time, folding my arms across my chest and letting the weight of my presence sink in. Yeah, Karen. Turns out I own more than just this farm. I own the entire county. Murmurs broke out. Board members who had been laughing moments ago were now whispering frantic excuses, some outright bolting from the scene. Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air.
This isn't possible. You can't own the county.
I can, and I do, which means you just bulldozed county land without permission. That's felony-level destruction of property. The officer nodded, his gaze hardening.
The county will be pressing full charges, and the HOA is liable for damages. We're talking millions in restitution.
Karen turned wildly, seeking support from her board, but they were already scattering like roaches when the lights come on. Her pink HOA folder slipped from her hands, its pages fluttering uselessly to the ground. She clenched her fists.
This isn't over.
She screeched, her voice cracking. I let out a slow chuckle. Oh, it really is. Over the next few weeks, the fallout was glorious. Karen tried everything, filing complaints, calling emergency HOA meetings, even attempting to take me to court. It didn't work. The day of the hearing, Karen stormed into the courtroom, her usual arrogance dialed up to 11. She wore a stiff blazer over her signature pink blouse, clutching her ever-present HOA folder as if it held some magical legal authority. The judge, an older woman with sharp eyes and an unimpressed expression, barely glanced up as Karen launched into a dramatic speech.
Your Honor, this is a clear case of overreach. The HOA was only trying to beautify the community. This man is hoarding land that could benefit everyone.
The judge slowly removed her glasses and sighed.
Miss Karen Peterson, do you even understand the charges against you?
I was acting in the best interest of the neighborhood.
My lawyer stood, adjusting his tie.
Your Honor, what Miss Karen Peterson conveniently ignores is that she led an unauthorized destruction of 600 acres of farmland land that was not only privately owned, but also legally registered as county property.
He handed a thick folder to the bailiff, who delivered it to the judge. She flipped through the pages, frowning. Karen's smugness cracked when the judge shook her head.
Miss Karen Peterson, this is one of the most egregious cases of trespassing and property damage I've seen. Not only did you have no legal authority, but you also cost the county millions in damages.
Karen's mouth opened, then shut. The judge turned to my lawyer.
What are the damages being sought?
My lawyer cleared his throat.
The county is suing for full restitution of damages, plus additional penalties for unlawful land seizure. The total amount comes out to just over $8.5 million.
The courtroom went dead silent. Karen's face drained of all color.
8 million? That's insane. We don't have that kind of money.
The judge arched an eyebrow.
Then I hope you enjoy bankruptcy, Miss Karen, because you and your HOA are fully liable.
Karen wheezed like a deflating balloon.
But HOA funds?
She spun around, looking at the board members seated behind her.
We can fight this, right?
The board members immediately shook their heads. One of them, a nervous-looking man, whispered,
"We're already voting you out after this."
Karen gawked at them, betrayed. The judge rapped her gavel.
The ruling is final. The HOA is responsible for all damages. Court is adjourned.
The county seized HOA funds to start paying for the destruction. Homeowners, blindsided by the disaster, were livid when their fees skyrocketed to cover the penalties. Furious residents packed HOA meetings, demanding Karen's resignation. It didn't take long. The HOA board held an emergency vote, and Karen was officially removed from her position. Humiliated and financially ruined, she left town in disgrace, her reputation in tatters. As for me, I restored my farmland and made damn sure that no HOA would ever set foot on my land again. Write in the comments from which region you are watching this video. It is very important for us. Like and subscribe.